Good. All right, there we go. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, August 18th, 2025, and you're in the Java Cafe. Before you all say it, yes, I changed things around. There's a different setup. Um, just because young man that I have as a guest today, he's a professional in this space, and so wanted it to, be as nice as possible. Other guests have been here as well, but he moves in a space in black media. In media, he is a dad. He's an entrepreneur. He is a mentor, friend type brother to me, supportive and encouraging. And so we're going to bring him in just a couple of seconds. But it is Mental Health Monday. So I'm going to ask all of you to do me a favor, as we usually do. Before we get into the conversation, please drop a word in the comments that lets us know how you're feeling today. It's a busy weekend. Very quickly, shout out to the Serendipity a la Mode event, the Brown Sugar event, the Park 54 Cindy Diggs retirement event. Also, Brother Milton and Mario for the 3 Cape Verdean block parties. Shout out to everybody that was outside for the Dominican Festival. I've seen the videos. I've seen the commentary. Yes, people are like, okay, we hope Carnival gets that same liberty. So anyway, I'm going to be able to talk about everything with this brother. So without further ado, I'd like to bring the good brother into the cafe. He is actually in studio today. And so before we get ready to do that, do me a favor and hit that like button, and also hit that share button, and invite others into the Java Cafe. It means a lot to have him here because we kind of, he does music and all that other stuff, but we're in the same space as far as we've created a platform. And from day one, he's always been supportive, and also has even invited me on the platform. So I'm telling y'all now, there will be, let me see, let me describe this morning's brew. There will be tones of blackness. There will be tones of joy. There will be tones of shade. There will be some mild tones of maybe a little bit of ratchery, and maybe some other things. So without further ado, let's bring Marvin Vinay. I'm going to get in trouble. Let's bring Marv Neal. I almost said his full government. Thank God I messed up. What's up, brother? Hold on. Okay. See, I'm already messing up his mic.
You just gonna play me. You make this sound like it's gonna be a bad deal. You're gonna get a bad hit. And then you call me Marvin Vinay, who is a wonderful brother, very well distinguished and well put together gentleman. I can only pray to be as well put together as Marvin Vinay. But no, this is Marv Neal. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Get it together, man.
I'm what you call it. I'll be honest, like, you're one of the people that we're cool, but there is a regard and respect for you. So I gotta admit that. So I'm a little off kilter today. So, brother Marv,
you ain't got to be off kilter with me. Listen, if I could just be me,
you can be you. I'm going to be.
I came in this damn studio. It's like a boom boom room in here. I swear, I come in here. You got the lights low. It's like you got candles burning and the incense. It smelled good in here, But I walk in here and I'm like, what in the world? It's all dark in here and real sensual. And I'm like, dude, who you thought was coming here? I'm just saying, bro. Like,
this is going.
Look. Let me tell y'all something, right? Java with Jimmy, I've been knowing this dude since high school, right? And I got out of high school. Well, both of us at this point now over 30 years. Like, been out of high school for a long freaking time, right? I've been knowing Jimmy. Let me tell you this, right? If you've known this man for a long time, he used to be fat. He resigned from being in the fat club. I'm here. I'm in the fat club still. I never resigned. Like, I tried to get out. My membership to the skinny club got revoked. I got pushed back in the fat club. And it's okay. I don't mind being fat. I don't mind. It's, look, come Christmas time, it works for me.
You got the beard
the Santa
going
Claus on. Yeah, yeah, I just got into this. We could talk about
that. You're going to do a beard weave?
What?
Sorry.
What the hell is that?
I'm just, if they do, they do everything now.
No, listen, I ain't weaving nothing. No, dude.
Okay.
Come Come on, man.
I had to get you back one way or another.
No.
Oh,
Listen,
Jesus.
but let
My
me finish
stomach
telling
hurts
y'all about
already.
This Love Den.
This is Marv.
He got the Love Den studio.
This is not no love.
It's nice though. I tell you, it's nice. I want to listen. If I go on a date, can I bring somebody by here and just
Marv, you got people thinking
ambiance? It's just
the ambiance. So
nice couch.
It's a nice ambiance.
Yeah, it is. It is. Listen, don't get me wrong. It is a nice place. It's definitely a nice place, boy. I tell you. But it gives where's the champagne vibe? You know what I'm saying? Like
there's no champagne room in
off and just throw your feet up on the couch.
This is
you know?
let's call that self-care and zen, not ratchery.
Okay. You call it what you want to call it.
Mom, yeah. You didn't even say good morning to the people. You went right in.
Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing?
Yeah. So do me a favor. Let's have you kick off. You talked about, the Fat Club, and we're going to talk about that health and whatnot. We, just communicated about being healthy. And so greet the people. And then I'm going to ask you to describe the state of Black men, however, in whichever context you want to, in one word. Then we'll go into your journey and who you are, and then get the context for your word. So greet the folks. And
well, hello, everyone. I am Marv Neal from 98.1 FM, the Urban Heat. Now, listen, I'm just happy to be here. How long you been doing this, man?
I knew it was going to come up. It is Friday. Friday was the 15th. So it literally was 5 years and
5 years.
5 years and March through August.
Okay.
5 years and 5 months, something like that.
5 years and 8 months. This is my first time in this joint. You know what I'm saying? Listen, let me tell you something. I love Jimmy, right? And with all the jokes and the laughing and all of that, I love this brother. And he is definitely an inspiration. He's an inspiration to many. He's definitely an inspiration to me. Just seeing where he's come from. We both are Madison Park High School alum, and just to see where he's come from to where he's at now, and to still have that connection to him after all these years, it's a beautiful thing. But this is the first time this Negro has had me on his platform. Let me just tell you,
it won't be the last. Timing is everything, and I'm sure that with what we talk about today, with all the joking and whatnot, there's going to be a lot of jewels.
I've been saying to him, when you gonna have me on your show? When you gonna have me on your show?
Today was the
and
right
then
time.
Then he came out the blue like, I'm gonna have you come on Monday. I was like, did you dial the right number? Did you call the right person? Did you me? Yeah, brought me to tears. I shed tears.
You said to Marv,
I finally made it, guys. I'm going on Travel with Jimmy. I finally made it to the big time. And I'm here now. And I'm excited. I'm happy. I get to sit in the room, boom, boom, room.
This is not a boom.
Java with Jimmy, and there was some rules that he told me now when I walked in the door, certain things I couldn't do. Right. So I did not say that. Rules.
I didn't say there was things you couldn't do.
You said don't bang on the table.
Because of the short in the camera.
Yeah. Okay. So I just said you gave
everybody doesn't
rules,
have
right?
a wonderful, full studio event space.
He told me
with a full board and setup and cameras and all that.
He told me that I can't get up from the seat to go pee. I'm 54. I'll be 55 soon. I can't go pee. If I gotta pee, I gotta hold it. He said he would give me a cup. If I gotta pee. I'm just saying.
He is lying. I told you.
I'm just saying, y'all. Listen, but I'm a guest in his house. I'm happy to be here, y'all. I love you, James Hill.
I love you too, brother. But oh, Jesus, the cussing I want to do right now, this is worse than with DL. No, this is good. This is good because we need this. And also, what just happened and what's happening speaks to the love we have for one another, the support we have for one another, the encouraging. One thing we don't do, which is interesting, I don't think it's happened, or it happens through our jokes. We haven't critiqued each other. We haven't said, hey, Marv, I think if you do this, you have, well, actually I'm lying because he does tell me what he thinks I should.
Look, let me just tell you, all right. From the beginning, when he started doing this media thing, right? Yep. I went to him and I said, yeah, this is dope what you're doing. I like when he first started doing the Java with Jimmy. The first thing I said is, yeah, you should syndicate. He was like, syndicate, what is that? I'm like, syndication, meaning you can be on multiple stations at one time and you can build your audience up enough in and around and beyond Boston. And then it makes it easier for advertising. And, you're syndicated like the Breakfast Club. They broadcast out in New York and they're on stations in different markets. Why not do that? And that was, for me, watching him do what he's doing, this Java with Jimmy platform. It's an amazing platform. It's an amazing vehicle. So, for me, it was a no-brainer. Syndication. Get on as many stations as you can get on. I opened the door. You can be on my station. The station he was on over at Spark. You could be there. You could be on my station. You could be on multiple stations all at the same time and grow your audience. He didn't understand what I was talking about. I'm beating him in his head. Like, listen.
Oh, somebody just jumped on Instagram that I know is going to comment. But
syndication. Let's, grow your market, grow your audience through syndication. I wish that, with Urban Heat, I have the radio station. I own the station. And I wish we could go into some type of syndication.
It's going to happen. And this brother has offered me a slot that I've called the, Tom Joyner, opportunity. It's just and he noticed here, he's in the crib. I've told y'all many times, I'll get up at 8:55, brush my teeth, come and sign on. The slot that I'm being offered, I'd have to leave out of here at about 4:45 in the morning.
Well, look, listen, I have been, we've gone through so many different changes at the Urban Heat, and I have tried to be innovative and open doors and, create bridges. So at one point in time, we were starting our morning show at 8 a.m. So I was like, why don't you come in and do 6 to 8? Java with Jimmy in the studio. And he was like, oh, that's too early. I can't get up that early.
Why you sound like Thaddeus?
I mean, but you couldn't get up there. I'm like, okay, all right. But I mean, look, it's for me, right, building partnership and working together, that's just who I am. That's just a part of me, it's the way my mother raised me, if you got something, you can share it or you can give it and God will bless you. And, I say all the time, like, I will give a person my last dollar. I'll give my last dollar up because I already know at some point in time, God's going to bless me and I'm going to have money in my pocket again. So I've given up literally taking my last dollar out of my pocket and here you go. And, just keep it moving. I've not gone out to events because I didn't have
left events early and disappeared when you said you was going to the restroom. And next thing I know, I text you and you like, I left.
Well, that's something different. That's something different.
We're going to get into that. But to your point, your colleague and co-host of the Morning Cafe just acknowledged and affirmed me that it is an early hour that time. So Angela Elizabeth, thank you so much for the back, mother. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody at the Morning Cafe, which is Dita. There's someone new, DJ Eclipse. DJ
Eclipse. Yeah, he was there. Then he took a break and he came back.
Okay.
But yeah,
and then Dita.
Yo,
that brother is you got personality, but that brother.
Yeah, Dita, he's a force to be reckoned with.
So let's go back. You referenced your mother, you referenced Madison, you referenced Faith. Who I almost said the government because I call him Marvin, but and I'm the only one I understand. People pulled me aside one day and was like, yo, Jimmy, nobody gets but I've known this brother for a while and I almost said the government, but who is Marv Neal? Who are you? And what drives you to be who you are today, the good, bad, and ugly?
So first and foremost, I'm a father. That's my number one and my favorite job. Like if I had to choose anything, then and it was only one thing, I'd be a father. Everything else will go to the wayside. My kids, I love my children, and I love being a dad. It's just so funny talking about parenting
You're
and
not going to jump to
children.
parenting and get away from. I need to
Well,
get
no,
up
I'm
to
gonna
the
tell you.
parenting. Okay, okay,
I'm gonna
okay. You're
tell you.
going
So,
somewhere. Okay.
so just as I look at my children, and I look at the course that we've gone on with each other. I wasn't always a good parent. I'd gone through different stages, and each of my children got a different father. Each of them, they got a different father, believe it or not. So, it's like I have different relationships with everybody. And I always say, my my first child, unfortunately, he was the one that started it, and he didn't get the best father. I was 17, so he got the he was like the crash test dummy, like I came into parenting not knowing anything about parenting. And then he got what I got from my
Mhm.
parents, and that wasn't the best. And then as I grew, I learned more and more and more. So each child got a different father.
A few things there. One, I'm still going to pull you back before the parenting, but there's an indication there of there. Carlos has said it came up on the men's convo last night that there is no real manual to parenting,
Right.
especially if, as you said, it wasn't the ideal. Let's just say white picket fence, model of parenting. And
Right.
so, let's go back a little bit though, and you can go just to high school. I ain't got to take you all the way back, but people, and I don't know if anybody's had this sort of exclusive of a bio of who Marv Neal is. They see you in this light. First of all, how many Adidas suits or how many?
Yo, ooh, Adidas suits. At this point, I don't even know, man. I just bought like 10 new Adidas suits in the past 3 weeks. So I don't know, man. I got, at one point I had like 200 Adidas suits. I don't know how many I got
You
now.
told me once that you can go. Did you say
Yeah.
6 months
Yeah.
without repeating?
Yeah. I can literally, I think at this point, I could wear a different Adidas suit every single day of the week, every day of the month without repeating an Adidas suit. Yeah. For like, yeah, probably at this point, probably like 7, 8 months
That is
every single day.
that is terrible. Well, I
Yeah.
want to know what informs that. Okay, so let's take us back. What hood were you born into?
So I was,
What was your like upbringing like?
so when I was younger, we lived in Orchard Park, and that's how I met Ralph Tresman. Just so we lived right next door to each other at 20 Adams Street. So when we left Orchard Park, we moved to Dorchester, and my brother he was really, I don't know, he was just drawn to the streets. So when we moved from Orchard Park to Dorchester, my brother would ride his bike back to Orchard Park, unbeknownst to my parents. Like they didn't know where he would, like he would get on his bike, he'd leave me, and he'd ride his bike back to Orchard Park, hang with Ralph and all them guys.
How old was he at
And
the time?
he
Because
was
what was
like,
the concern about him just going back to
he
riding
was
his
like,
bike?
when we moved out of OP, I was 7, and he was like 8.5. So at 9 years old, he was riding his bike to Orchard Park, and the only way he got caught, and my mother told him, because he did this for years. The only way he got caught, and my mother told him to stop going, is they would do wild stuff. Like, Ralph and them dudes, they was crazy. They would ride their bikes and do bunny hops and jump on cars on their bikes, and like jump off of the roof of a car onto the ground, onto their back wheel. Like they was doing wild stuff. So one day they were running somewhere, and they jumped a fence. That parquet stuff that they be doing where they be jumping off. They was doing that stuff back then.
Yep.
He jumped the fence, and his leg got caught
I knew you was going to say that.
on the fence, and it tore his leg, and he had this big gash. They had those barbed wire, and he had this big gash in his leg. So he does that, but he keeps playing. He's still going. He's still going. Then he comes home and he's like, yeah, I cut my leg. It shows my mother. Now he got to go to the hospital. He been running around all day outside, leg infected, dirt and all that. My mother finally took him to the hospital. He had to get stitches. And after that, she told him, you can't go down there no more. So then he went from there to hanging on Castlegate, which is where my aunt lived. So
and that's
OP
back in the day.
to the
I
G.
remember you from.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, and then that was it. So when we would go to my aunt's house all the time, that was the hangout spot. So yeah,
I remember you, Mika, from up there as well. And back in the day, so let's go there a little bit. There was a culture back in the day that there were certain places where you knew that you didn't mess with if you wasn't cool with them, and the gate was one of them.
Yeah.
Castlegate was one of them.
So it prior to the 80s, you could pretty much flow free, but when colors came out,
we just talked about that the other night. Josh and I or something, we talked about colors.
Yeah,
the influence of that.
Yeah, when colors came out, it was a game changer. It was a game changer for the city because you had your friends that you hung with in the different neighborhoods and all, but the gang culture didn't heat up until colors. When colors came out, everybody wanted to be a gang member. It was wild, and then things got crazy, and it just kind of took off from there.
It's interesting because people know that I'll have a set of questions and things in my mind, and then based on your answer, that may shift very quickly, and we can go back to your journey into urban heat and whatnot. I was talking to a youth worker the other day, the guy that does Grow Rich Apparel, Joshua James, and he talked about social media. I want to ask a question. Do you think that social media is today's colors in the context of what you said? And it's, to us, it's not, we describe gang activity. It's a different experience for us. I don't know if this is gang activity, but would you say social media is today's colors as far as the impact of what's going on with our young people? It's not gang activity, but there's something there.
So initially I was going to say no, but as I'm sitting here thinking and I'm processing that Colors the movie was an influence on individuals. It was an influence in it, and it influenced the culture, and social media is definitely an influence, and it influences the culture. So yeah, you could probably say that.
I just had that quick thought. Yeah. Okay, so born in Roxbury, back and forth. Your brother, you mentioned him and the family and being in that area. Got out of Madison. We went to Madison together.
Yeah.
Got out of Madison, and between Madison, give us this thing, because we would see each other in community, but really didn't reconnect till either right before COVID or COVID. With this, but the journey from after high school. Tell us a little bit, and then end with, like, where did this concept answer the question? But did you ever think you were going into media? Answer that at the end. So high school.
So I got out of high school. I worked at a bank. It was the Bank of Boston, the First National Bank of Boston. I worked there at the high school.
Which one?
Right in Dudley.
Nubian. Well, yeah. To us is Dudley, but to Nubian. The First National Bank, which is now Bank of America,
it went through so many different name changes.
And then Jesus,
many name changes, and then I worked there, and it was so funny. I was just having a conversation with this guy the other day. I worked there, and then while I was working there, I was involved in music. I've been doing talent shows since I was 14. My first talent show, I was involved in a program called DYC, Dorchester Youth Collaborative. And we did a talent show at the White Church up on Meeting House Hill in Dorchester. Did the talent show, and this lady came to me, this little short white lady with glasses. And she said, I got this group I want to bring to the show. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, what are you about to tell us?
No, really. And so she comes and she says she has this group. And I'm like, all right, cool. So I said, how many people in the group? She said 5, but only 4 of them will be able to come because the youngest one is too young to be out that late because the show was like 7 o'clock at night. And I said, so what's the name of the group? And she said, Nanook. And I'm like, okay, that's a different name, Nanook. And she brought these kids, and it was 4 of them, and they came in, and they did a song called New Kids on the Block.
I knew he was going to go ahead. Go ahead, Marv.
And they did this song, right? And I swear, I wish that video cameras was around back then. I wish they were accessible because they got up and they did this song and they killed it, right? So the lady's name was Mary Alfred, right? And Mary was the manager of Nanook. And then what ends up happening is they were working with Maurice Starr, and the name changed from Nanook to New Kids on the Block. And, they took off. So that was my first talent show.
What year was that?
Ooh, this was probably 84, 83, 84. This was literally right when I was going into high school. Yeah, I was 14 when I did that talent show. 14.
So first of all, my mother, before you even went there, she just typed New Kids. I don't know how she knew that. So I know you're not saying this, but let's backtrack a little bit. You didn't have the talent show, and they sang New Kids on the. You did you have anything to do with?
No,
okay.
They were already on their way.
Okay.
They were already on their way, but I had never heard of them before.
Okay.
This was before they
got big.
Yeah, they were still in the hood.
Okay.
So they were well on their way. I had zero to do with their success. I'm just happy to be able to say that my very first talent show, they performed.
Featured Nanook, aka that's crazy. So that was your sort of entrance into the industry, got out of high school doing things.
So I actually watched my cousin Jeff.
Shout out to he was coming up at some point today. Yeah.
So my cousin Jeff, Jeff 2 times, Deaf Jeff, whatever. He didn't have many name changes like Diddy, right?
Hey,
I'm saying he didn't have 1,000 names.
like other celebrities.
I don't know nobody who changed their name that many times.
But don't put my boy's name.
But listen, we definitely gonna have to address this whole Diddy thing.
Okay,
because
all right.
Everybody mad at Diddy, and I don't know why. I don't know why everybody's mad at Diddy. If you're gonna be mad at Diddy, be mad at Diddy for what he did to Cassie. That was reprehensible. Him assaulting Cassie.
Yes.
That's
so I seen some of the we can do this after dark because I did see some of the conversation that you curated on Urban Heat about, escorts and things like that. And so let's table that because we need to have that conversation because Diddy, what was out there. There's a lot in industry. There's a whole lot of stuff. When I say out there, I don't mean that. I mean it was public, but there's stuff that ain't, So
we can definitely we'll table
back to
that.
Jeff. Absolutely.
So
good brother Jeff.
my cousin Jeff was my first influence as it pertains to entertainment. Because when we used to go to my aunt's house over on Castlegate, Jeff had the turntables and he was mixing and he was just getting into it. I remember when he got his first set.
Was it Gemini or 1200s?
I don't know.
Remember the techniques?
I remember the difference between the techniques and the Gemini. Yeah. But Jeff was my first influence as it pertains to entertainment. It's because of him that I actually wanted to get into the entertainment side of things.
What was the side that you initially wanted?
So I was a rapper. I was a rapper because Jeff was the DJ, and for as long as I can remember, like his name rang bells. You had initially he was DJ Smalls, and he had a group called the PC Crew. And with that, they had different people in the group: Fat Pat, the Twins, Disco P, and Orange Man, and Tony Rome. They were on I forgot the name of the show. It was like a news broadcast, but these people came to the house and cameras video Jeff doing his thing and talking, and the twins were dancing, and it was crazy. He was on TV, and I was just like, I want to do that. So I got into rapping, and
Can we
I
can,
was
can we get a bar?
no, I'm not gonna do that right now. See, I be rapping every day on the Urban Heat, but yeah, I wanted to do it because he did it. And then as time went on, I realized there were better rappers than me, and I was just like, I was hip hop, the hippie, and everybody else was doing something different. And I was just like Orange Man was a killer. He was a monster on the microphone. He was the best that I've ever seen do it, So
I remember them in the
he,
days.
he was a big influence, and it made me realize that I'm not ready for this rap game.
Okay.
So I stopped rapping. Then I wanted to try to be a DJ, and I just wasn't coordinated enough. I was too fat. I was a really fat kid growing up, so I wasn't able to dance and spin on my back. And
You didn't break dance?
nah,
No
man, I
windmill?
couldn't. I tried to do an up rock, and then I kind of slipped, and I couldn't do that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm smarter than the average bear. I'm gonna start promoting shows.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you went into promoting shows.
Yeah.
Get us to the point where, when did this concept, or was it offered to you, promoting shows? And then let's get into the journey of Urban Heat.
So like I said, that talent show with Nanook, that was my first show. And then from there, it just kind of, I just weaved my way through doing different. I did a battle of the DJs. I did a battle of the MCs over at the old Skycap Plaza. I knew all the people at the different venues and the clubs, and be able to go in there and put shows on and all. And as time went on, life began to look a little different. And we fast forward through, my journey, if we're talking about Urban Heat. A guy who I thought was a friend of mine contacted me and said that he wanted me to do marketing for a radio station that he was starting. I was like, okay. So I mean, look, a lot of Boston cats do a lot of big talking and no follow through.
Mhm.
So when he said it, I was just like, okay. All right. And he called me. He called me like 4 or 5 times. He's like, yo, I'm coming. We're gonna do this radio station, this, that. I want you to do the marketing. I'm like, okay. So finally he came, and he had somebody with him from Cali. And we met down in Copley, and we talked, chopped it up. And that's when I realized, oh wow, this is real. So the base of Boston was born.
Okay.
I came in. I was the director of marketing, but I was doing a bunch of other stuff, and there were like certain things that needed to be done, and it couldn't wait financially. So I was paying for stuff to get done. And then it was like, yo, I spent this much money. I need my money back. And then the first time was like, cool, I got my money back. So it's like, all right, cool. So, as things came up, I took care of it. Then we did a party at Mosley's, and it was the introduction of the radio station. And at that time, we did okay at the door, but at that time I was still owed like 5-6 grand. So I'm sitting here like, where's my bread? And from there, things got a little rocky. So, the guy who brought me in, he was less than truthful about some of the things that he was saying about the station and his position and what was going on. And I ended up finding out, and he was also bad mouthing me behind my back, which I didn't understand because I thought this was my friend. Everything came to a head, everything came out, and our friendship broke. And I was just like, with friends like this, you don't need no enemies, you know? So I got called to LA. We had a meeting, and long story short, they wanted me to step in and run the station. He walked away. And then as time went on, the original owners decided that they were going to walk away. They wanted to sell the station. And, I did some talking and I ended up owning the station. So
What year
back
was
about,
that you became owner?
this is like, what's this? 25, like, maybe 7 years ago.
Okay.
About 7 years. Yeah. Yeah. Because we're going on 9 years now. So, yeah. So it's been a journey. It's definitely been a journey.
It's definitely a journey. And I mean, different circumstances, but I've seen it, and you talk about this platform, but I've also seen growth in yours as well. And so I wanted to be very intentional because by my recollection of seeing online, I think you got some family in here. Um Rosie McAllister, and then I saw somebody else that had the last name Neal that was kind of messing with you. So that's the journey of Urban Heat. And it is a impactful, like you're on iHeart now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's international, correct?
Correct.
And you have a bunch of personalities. I don't want to get into naming names and you either because you might forget someone, but there's a lot on there, people that I rock with, people that I've collaborated with, and artists and whatnot. So Urban Heat is really lighting up Boston, similar to Spark FM, Java, the Banner, and then also Wokeman Radio. And so I wanted at some point we're going to talk about Black media. So you have Urban Heat. You started off with fatherhood. Let's have that conversation because in addition to Urban Heat, you also are the founder and executive director of
365
365.
Dad. Yeah.
So tell us about that.
So
That I want to hear.
So, with before this radio journey, I worked at an organization. Well, let me back up. First and foremost, I've always been a proponent of fatherhood, parenting. My kids mean the world to me. And I ended up my youngest son was introduced to DCF. Something happened with his mom. They came and they took him. So of course, I stepped in like, hey, let me get my man back.
Yep.
And they were like, no, we don't know you. You're gonna have to prove to us that we should send him with you, which was really puzzling. I'm his dad.
Now, can I ask a question just for clarity about the system? Where you're comfortable sharing any record, anything that would red flag them to say, I just wanted to clarify that for a reason. Go ahead. Yep.
The only thing that would red flag them is I was a Black man stepping up, showing interest for my child.
Yes, sir.
And even if they had any concerns, I'm his father. So I have seen the system put children back in the hands of mothers who have messed up time and time again. But when it comes to fathers, it's really you only get one shot. And if you screw up, you're done. A mother can say, I don't want the kids. And they'll convince her, oh, you got to take the kids back. You got to take. I've seen it. I've worked in the system. Yep. So when they took my son, they wouldn't give him back to me. So I had to go through this program. And going in the program, I thought that I knew everything about parenting. And I learned that I didn't. I learned that I needed to know more about parenting. And it's so much about social, emotional, and, just development, childhood development. And I learned all these things about children that I had not known. And one of the first things I learned, I was asked, is it okay for boys to cry? I said, hell no. Boys don't cry. Hell no. They got to man up. And then we started that discussion. And I learned that when we teach our boys not to cry, we are teaching our boys to suppress their emotions and to shut down. and to block away our feelings and when things happen. And that makes the male child more destructive. I learned so much, when they say boys don't cry, that is so unrealistic. And it's so wrong for us to put that on our children because boys hurt just like girls. So many other things, children have a voice. I was taught be seen and not heard. So when I learned and accepted that children do have a voice, I started having family meetings with my children. And we would sit down and I would ask them. One of the first questions I ask is, what do I do that you don't like? And my son, he's, oh, Dad, you're the greatest. Oh, he love everything you do. There's nothing you do wrong. I said, no, 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 seriously, on the real. Like, what do I do that you don't like? I promise you. I give you my word, you won't get in trouble. And my son's like, for real? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, I don't like when you yell at me. I don't like when you hit me. I don't like when you put me on punishment. And he just started rattling off all these different things that I do. And he was like, and I'm like, oh, slow down. I'm trying to keep the list here. Right. So I tell him all, I get the list. And I'm like, all right, cool. I promise I'm going to try to be a better father. I promise you. And then I said, if you see me doing something that I have said that I'm not going to do, you have the right to call me out on it. So I said, as long as y'all tell the truth, I will not be mad at you. I promise you. So my daughter says, and she's the one, my daughter Destiny. She's like, oh yeah,
That's who's on.
So she says, well, I guess I'm going to tell you about this. And then she goes over, that was around the time I lost my mom. And, she had, like, my mother had all these figurines and stuff in the living room. So she goes over and she tips over one of the figurines and it was broke. I'm like, yo. She said, you said you wasn't going to get mad. And I said, okay, all right. She said, this has been broke for years and I've been wanting to tell you that we broke it. And I'm like, you dirty so-and-so. She said, we was in here playing. You had told us to stop playing with the ball in the house and we didn't listen and we broke it. And she said, I took it and put it back together and sat it there and then backed away from it. And they said they figured I would be moving stuff around and think that I broke it. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy.
She was in here.
She's in there.
Yeah,
I'm looking at her. Yeah.
Okay. So shout out to Destiny for being up front.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Let's go to this part a little bit. And Terminology's a part of his team. They're on Instagram and they want to get you a Good Dad Gang package. So I'll make sure that connection happens. You talked about DCF and the family, and we're talking about Good Dad Gang. And see, this is why I don't mess with the comments because it made me lose my train of thought. The Good Dad Gang, the piece about stepping in and being a dad is real. Massachusetts is a automatic mother leaning, friendly, piece. And so taking that class and realizing that you needed to be vulnerable, going back to what you just said, were you prepared for what your vulnerability as a dad would expose?
I would have to say no. Prepared? No. I was ready to do whatever I needed to do. When they told me that I went to get my son, they told me I can't have him. I got to go through these programs. And I said, I will do whatever it takes to get my man out of DCF custody. And I did. I jumped through hoops. I bent over backwards. I crawled in the dirt. And you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. It was so wild to me, the things that they had me do to prove that I was worthy of bringing my son home.
Then, and not taking away from some of the systemic stuff that you said, just the black man and just then and now, was it not just son, the hoops, Were the
So
hoops worth it in a manner that if you look back, it seemed like a lot, but now obviously you see the benefit. But just talk about hoops versus wins that you got from jumping through the hoops.
okay. So one of the hoops was I had to go through the program. I had to go through this Nurturing Fathers program, which helped to shape my life. The Nurturing Fathers program was an amazing program. If they had given me custody of my son and told me to go to the program, I still would have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I still would have done it. But going through that program, the Nurturing Fathers program helped change and shape my life as it is today as a man, because it taught me things that I didn't know about parenting, in particular about fatherhood. And I stand on that 10 toes down. The Nurturing Fathers program was a lifesaver.
Is this the one with Richard at
Um,
Family Nurturing Center?
yeah. So
Yep,
a
yep.
lot of people teach it now. So when I went through it, this guy named John O'Neill, OG, this cat, smooth from the bricks, from Jamaica Plain JP Projects. This dude, he was the moderator for the class and the facilitator. And this dude he was the epitome of facilitators when it comes to this. And I picked up so much from this guy and learned so much more about parenting and the pitfalls and, what I was missing. And the reason why I learned so much from him, because I could relate to him and he could relate to me. Having people that walk similar lives as you, that look like you, makes a difference, when you're learning.
It's interesting
Yeah.
because this came up in the men's convo last night about having these communities of men, and this has been a topic I found myself. I've always talked about men's health and things like that, but the intensity of the last couple of weeks have been interesting. Based on what you said, a part of the programming, you became aware of the term social emotional.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on with that. Brother Kurt Faustin in the Dropout is really
Mhm.
known for it locally, pushing that narrative. We've been talking about it, Joey Bennett, Milton, and others, Carlos. And there's still this thing, Marv, in our community that men ascribe being healthy mentally, and even some physically, and we're going to get into physical health as well. You addressing you being aware of your social and emotional part of you, does that take away from anything of your manhood and who Marv
For me?
is? Yeah.
Nah. So, I listen. Let me just say this, right? And I know this is
Come on,
we
come
don't
on.
got too much time, but
No,
this
no,
is
no. You good? I got as
okay.
much time as you got.
Okay. So, let me just say this to you. I'm first and foremost, I'm secure in my manhood.
That part.
Who I am as a man. People have said to me, right? Because I tell everybody, I scream your name to the mountaintops. Java with Jimmy, that's my dog. I love Jimmy. And people have said to me, yo, he's gay, right? And I'm like, and what does that mean? I love that brother. It doesn't matter what his sexuality is. I don't care. That's my dog. I love Listen, and I've told people, listen, I sleep in the same bed with Jimmy. I'm not concerned about anything. That's my brother. I love this man. So his sexuality doesn't move me or sway me because I know who I am, So when we talk about social emotional and our emotions and feelings and all of that, I know who I am. So I'm cool.
Thank you. And full transparency, Marv and I talk, and we talked a little bit about this if it was going to come up, because one thing that I found, Marv, that when brothers are comfortable in their sexuality and whatnot, it's even so, and you and I joke in a ratchet man so what y'all saw this morning, like about the boom boom room and all of that, that's not just because he was here. Me and Marv, I can say the slyest thing, and Marv will either say pause or something or whatever and find a comment to say. For me, there are a couple of categories when I know brothers are comfortable and in their sexuality, and then comfortable around me is the joking and the whatnot. So anyway, the reason I brought that up is because there seems to be either soft or it may be a gay agenda. Carlos had mentioned even some conversation that some people had about him, being social emotionally aware. And I just, do you consider yourself to be a healthier and better man after doing what some classify as shadow work? Either it started with parenting, um, what the enemy meant for evil turned out being for good because you took that class and whatnot. However, you got on the journey, are you better for it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. See, listen, learning about parenting put me in a way better space. It allowed me to be able to deal with my children better, So understanding that if you do this, then that will happen. And if you do that, this will happen. It helped me to know how to better deal with my kids. And I'm a way better person now than I was, 10, 15, 20 years ago. I just said this morning, I'm talking to somebody. Each of my children got a different father.
Yeah, and you said that here too.
So, I mean, it's just this parenting conversation is ongoing, right? And I try to encourage men to do the best you can, right? And if you find that you're having roadblocks or stumbling blocks, reach out to a person like myself at 365 Dad. We have a website, 365 Dad. We're here to help. Organizations like Fathers Uplift, organizations like the Family Nurturing Center,
Yard Time,
yeah,
a couple of others, and we don't want to
yeah.
get in naming names without.
So-
Speaking of naming names, real quick, Jeff is on Instagram, so I don't know if he saw it, but if you wanted to give him love again, Val Beach just jumped on,
yeah.
as well on Instagram. They're on.
So I will say if Jeff's on here now, and I never told him this. What I shared today.
That was an exclusive. Hold on.
With
You did a drop.
Before. Yeah, that listen. The reason I am in this music game is because of Jeff. My cousin, yes, that is my first cousin. His mother, my mother was sisters. My first cousin, Jeff Neal, aka Jeff 2 times. Yeah, that. It's because of him. Going to his house on Castlegate and being in there and watching him mix and play and practice and all of that. That was the beginning. That was the foundation. And like I said earlier, I tried to be a rapper because Jeff was the DJ, and he had his
So
crew.
it's Jeff's fault that you tried
I wouldn't
to
say it was his fault, but I mean, he was definitely the inspiration, behind the moves that I was making. So yeah, I got in this thing and it just kind of grew from there when I realized I couldn't rap and I'm not coordinated enough to be a DJ and I was too fat to dance. The only thing I could be now is I had to be like a Russell Simmons type, and be on the backside managing stuff and putting things together. Yeah.
I was off camera when I was messing with them. So a couple of people in the room I want to acknowledge, and actually ask the Mother's Board to add her to the prayer list. The wonderful songbird, songstress, Angelina, is in the room, and she says she loves some messy Marv. We talked earlier about the Serendipity a la mode event that happened the other night. Dane's in the room. And also, I wanted to acknowledge someone who commented, our good sister, and we ask that you keep her with positive thoughts and lifted in prayer as well. Counselor Anderson jumped in and said, Black men should not have to spell out their insecurities. Functioning under supremacy and deprivation forces the unnatural Afro counterintuitive path. Ooh, Counselor, she came in and went deep.
That
it's
Tanya.
Yes. Yep.
Let me just say this.
Please
right?
do. Yep.
So, I have been, wanting to have her on my platform so that we can chat.
This is one where we're
no, I know.
I'm messing. And Counselor, we're not making, I just wanted to acknowledge we're not making no commodity of anything of you. That's our friendly banter. But go ahead, sir.
Let me just say
as long as her story is told, I don't care who lets her tell it.
So, I've been wanting to have her on my platform because, I know that when people hear stuff, they take it and they run with it and they turn it into whatever is convenient. They make a big story out of it or whatever. And I say this, we have to learn how to grant people grace. So we don't know all the circumstances of her situation. We know what has been magnified. And what we should be doing as a people, as Black people, I feel we should be covering that sister and surrounding her and supporting and uplifting her, not trashing her and making her feel worse than she already feels for being in a situation. It really pains me that whenever we as Black people
can we say specifically can I ask you too, as men, because there's this notion of protect Black women, and I want to break that down more so, but if you don't mind, can you talk particularly to and all of us, male and female have been doing it, but there's this notion of protecting Black women as well that we should be doing of that sister.
Yeah.
And she said God is the all-knower.
So I just want to add this last piece.
Go ahead.
We just gotta stop being so quick to rush to judgment and start trashing our own people. And I say, I don't know if I'm gonna piss anybody off, but white people protect their own. Jewish people protect their own. Asian people protect their own. We don't protect each other. We will see somebody in distress, and instead of throwing them a life preserver or trying to pull them in, we'll sit there and pull our camera out and watch them drown.
Or we'll promote and share, negativity, conjecture, and let's just someone said this the other day, use this terminology, the elephant in the room, and our sheriff, his name came up.
Yeah,
there was the thing that they tried to do with dragging our good brother Idawu. You know what I mean? But again, we got two things to add to After Dark. And DL said he wanted to join you about the Diddy convo. But then also, DL does this thing about being on code. We'll close this part out. Marv, I've been approaching it with this term of grace and accountability. Publicly, grace all day. If we got to have a private chat or whatever, that's where the accountability comes. Because a general thing of we all have done some things that would make me say, therefore, but the grace of God. I don't let our covers start being pulled back from stuff. And a variety of things. So anyway, thank you for that. I saw her in the room and had to acknowledge her. She said Tanya's fine, but you forever going to be counselor. All right. It's 11, but if you give me about a good 15, 20 more minutes.
I ain't in no rush. I ain't got nowhere to be.
Okay. So
have had some breakfast here for me, man. You can call some.
No lie, bro. Man. I got corned beef hash. I was going to throw a little something together because it's Marv and I couldn't have him talk.
Cook it?
I can cook, brother. You can't tell.
Ugh, no, thank you. I'm cool. I'll wait till I leave.
You ain't all that cool because that chair about to make you uncomfortable. You want to take a break and switch one?
Oh, okay. But you talking about you cooking. No,
I can cook.
You can't cook. Let's stop playing, man. If you could cook, you would still be fat like me.
No, I started eating better and can cook. So let's go down that road.
Okay.
Because no, seriously, Marv, because I think I don't know if the general public has the opportunity to know this side of you. And I think that it's important because to know someone is to love them, why you move the way you move and whatnot. People see how people move sometimes. And if they don't know and understand, they make presumptions. Sorry. The health piece. Let's talk about that. Behavioral health, mental health is a part of it. You said that, you're socially and emotionally aware of who you are. You consider yourself a better man about addressing these things. Let's talk about the physical health. You joke about you being, fat or whatever. And size necessarily doesn't mean anything, but how are you on your journey as far as where you're, comfortable sharing as far as health? How are you prioritizing it as a Black man?
Okay. So I have, and I'm pretty open about this. I have tried to lose weight a couple of times, people look at me and they're like, "Oh, you're not fat," and I'm like, "You ain't seen me with my clothes off." Listen,
Pause.
I could stand to lose about a good 40 pounds, you know. So I have
I say
listen.
60, but
Oh,
I had to get you back. I had to go ahead. Go ahead.
so you know, I have tried different mechanisms. You know, I love to walk, but you know, walking is cool when you got people walking with you. You know what I'm saying? So get out there and I'll walk, and you know, I'll do it for a little while, and then I'll stop. You know, so that motivation, I need that extra motivation. And I was just most recently started walking with Coach La, and you know, stuff
She
kept
can we
getting in
just
the
shout
way.
her out for a second that she's on a journey. I seen
Yeah,
her the other day
yeah,
and I was like,
yeah,
almost want to make me jump
yeah,
to the other side. Go ahead.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, so she's
With all
definitely on
due,
an
coach.
amazing journey. She's lost a lot of weight, you know. So, you know, here I am. I'm trying to, you know, I'm trying to trim down, but it's tough. So I have tried the that shot. You know, the doctor was like, "Yeah, if you take the shot, it's gonna work." And then, you know, I'm like, okay. And then I took the shot, and then it just I didn't like the way it made me feel at the end of the day. And then, you know, I always wonder, like, when the doctor's encouraging you to take a certain medicine, is it because the medicine works, or is it because they're going to get a kickback? And 9 times out of 10 is they getting a kickback, you
Facts.
know. So I stopped using it. I got boxes of this Ozempic and the other stuff in my refrigerator still, because I just stopped taking it.
So you're still okay. Here's the other side of me with insurance and all this other stuff going on. So it's
Uh-huh.
just sitting there stockpiled.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, it's not for everybody, but and again, size doesn't necessarily negate healthy or not, but it I wanted to have that combo because we've talked about it here and there
Mhm.
about health and being focused and eating healthy and whatnot. So what is it that you would say to brothers about prioritizing their health? And let me ask, has fatherhood made you prioritize? Did it make you prioritize your health in a different manner as far as being here for your children, legacy, and things like that? How did fatherhood and your health collide?
So yeah, I look, fatherhood hasn't made me eat healthier because I still don't eat healthy. I mean, you know, but I definitely pay attention to it, you know, and like right now, I'm saying to myself, and I've been saying to myself, I gotta do better because I want to be here for my kids. And I'm seeing a lot of OGs, you know,
Yes.
cats that I came up with dying. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And like dudes is they're dying of heart attacks and you know, stuff like that. You know, it's like, wow. Before, back in the day, dudes were getting shot, they were getting stabbed, and you know, it gave you being, you know, from the city. If somebody got killed, you had an outlet. You were mad. You had an anger that you could direct at somebody. But now they're dying from cancer, from liver disease. Who you gonna be mad at?
So in two veins, let's go there. One, I've been saying this, and because your intersections and how you're connected with a lot of these brothers and whatnot, I've been saying on the show that the density and concentration of about 30 to 50 men in this city who have lost 15 to 20 men within the past since February
Mhm.
and before that. Is that true? And then two, is that something that you've noticed on a larger scale, and has it crossed your mind about this crew of about 30 connected, unconnected? Social media tells you a lot, and we've had these periods, Marv, where you get the first post, and then it's a flood of unconnected people, meaning that that person anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
Am I right about this group of men that are really dealing with a high concentrated dense level of mourning and loss in the past like
yeah,
9 months to a year?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
And what would
I
you say
just
to them to
look,
try to
we
deal?
just had this conversation the other day about, you know, people when I was at the Serendipity a Mode, you know, it brought out so many people. Once again, thanks Dane, Seth, D Nice, Nine Alarms, Franchise Entertainment. It was a dope event, and it brought out people that you haven't seen in a long time. So as I'm standing there and I'm talking to this brother, you know, he just says 2025 was a hit. It was a hit. It was a tough year. I can't wait for this to get over. And specifically, he named Bum and Brew. You know, so Bum and Bruvel, those were two that were really near and dear to him. And he was just like, how he's just like, I'm just ready for 2025 to be over. Those are two major figures in the city. Both of them, you know, served very big purposes in the lives of the city's youth, and they're both gone. So, you know, he was talking about health, making sure that, you know, we start to eat better and we start to live better. And, you know, I'm sitting there standing, I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, we do have to start taking care of ourselves. In addition to that, because we don't know what tomorrow brings, we have to enjoy ourselves now. And I'm going to ask you this.
Shoot.
When's the last time you went on a vacation, like a real vacation?
So you're on screen by yourself. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see, yeah. When's the last
Um,
time you went on a real vacation?
I would say a mini one, thanks to Nia. I got a few days on the vineyard after the 4th. You know my routine. I'm in Miami. You know, this year wasn't able to do it, so I can make sure that I'm not hurting in 4th quarter.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would say last August, when I say a real vacation, I've been
Okay.
staycationing here. I've been on D&D like nobody's business. But
So I asked that question because we as a people, right? And a lot of black folks are going to be able to attest to this. When we go on vacation, we take a week of vacation, right?
Mhm.
We'll take a week vacation, fly to an island, fly to Florida, you know, fly somewhere for a week vacation, and then come back. And then we got to be to work on Monday. We come back on Sunday and we get back to work on Monday.
Yep.
Right. That's generally how it goes. For the first time in my life, I took a 2-week vacation.
Well, you did nothing. No work, no urban heat, no anything.
I couldn't because I was in Rome, and the connection
You
trying
in
to be on the
Rome?
computer. I
Did you
was
go
in
to the
Rome.
Vatican?
I did all that. Did the Vatican, did
Go ahead. Sorry. Stay focused.
Colosseum, did basilicas. I did a lot of stuff when I was in Rome, but I went to Rome and I was in Rome for 7 days. We had an Airbnb and we were in Rome, and then went from there to a cruise ship and was on a cruise ship for 7 days. 2-week vacation. First time I had ever done it. Being in Rome, I was able to sleep late. I mean, the time difference is crazy, but just sleep late and just wake up and just walk around and fart if I wanted to, and get back into bed and lay down and
You staying by
get
yourself?
up. No, it was a group of us.
I'm talking about when you walked around and farted when you want to.
Well, nah, it was a group of us. So I walked in the room and just farted and just like, sorry. They're like, yo, you on that? I'm like, I'm on vacation, man. I'm farting if I want to. But it was, you know, the freedom of being on vacation that you get when you take 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to all my friends, I'm like, yo, listen, we have to stop short selling ourselves. We act like whatever job we have is not going to work if we ain't there. We go on vacation, right? We'll begrudgingly go on vacation. And then when we do go, we trying to hurry up and get back. Oh, I got to get back because the company gonna fall apart without me. And I'm like, little do you know, that company ain't gonna fall apart without you. It's gonna be there when you get back.
2 levels of that. One is working for a company is one thing. It's different for us. Can I keep it 100? Angelina's on, and I wanted to make sure I completed. Did I finish the thought about Ma adding Angelina's family to the prayer list? She had a recent family member loss, and it's good to see you laughing in here. She's laughing at your fart comment. So is Angie, and so is Anthony said you preaching to him right now from the Davis system. The piece you said about, you know, taking that time and whatnot, people like Anthony, people like me, to some extent, like you have a staff, you don't work, you don't get paid. I took the
Okay.
summer off and I'm chilling, not a lot of hosting. I'm outside, but I'm now at the end of the summer, like, ooh, I got to pack up the fall. And so
Right.
to that other point, I realized one day there's a service part to this platform. And I had to own some fact, Marv, that in particularly in spaces where it's just us and we're doing a service, we have to own that there's a little bit of pride when we don't take a break. Because to your point, that notion of you were talking more an employee, but as an employer or entrepreneur or as a service person, we think that if we don't do it, it's not going to get done. And I had to sit back one day and say, first of all, I'm not that wonderful. Second of all, if it's service and something that needs to be done to make the world a better place, I'm not the only one that has a vision. I have a vision in my way to do it. But anyway, my point is going there, we can get ready to wrap up. You talk about, there was some implications in there about intentional self care. You talked about a 2-week vacation, but I'm going to ask you because we see you hustle. We see you outside. We see you managing. You talked about early in years, giving out your pocket. You still do that and whatnot. How do you manage and take care of Marv on a ongoing daily basis? What is it that you do for self-care to maintain and not before you can get back to them 2 weeks?
Okay. So I
Oh,
mean,
he was
you
ready.
gotta. Oh yeah, damn right, I'm ready. You think I'm a slouch? Come on, man. Listen, it having, like you said, the staycations and the mini vacations, those are important. You have to take time for yourself. There are times that I will shut down. Like Friday is the only day that really have off from work, that I'm not in the station at all. I mean, sorry, Saturday. So what I'll do is Friday, and some people don't even realize it. I'll turn my ringer off
That is listen.
and I'll talk to my kids. Hey, y'all, I'm home. I'll be at the house, right? I may not answer my phone or whatever, but I will do that. And then I will go home and I will shut down. What I have found to be even more relaxing is get a hotel room. Just leave the house and get a hotel room and stay the night in the hotel. And it definitely helps to recharge the battery. And just if money's tight, go online and find the cheapest hotel that you can find, regardless of where it is. Go and spend the night and just change your environment. And it definitely helps to keep you going, until you can get to that 2-week vacation.
The the 2 or 3 days that we get, if I have it, I'll do a day before and a day after when Tori, and shout out to her when Tori brings us out to Encore.
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
by the water. It's a whole
yeah.
city or environment in itself, and
Right.
so that is real. So I was glad to hear you, say that because it you definitely see the hustle and the grind, but
Yeah.
I'm glad this is one of the pastors came in. Pastor Sharon said he is no slouch. They are in on you today. My mother and all of them, they are
I love
enjoying
Pastor
you.
Sharon.
Angie said that, listen, it's necessary, but it's more challenging when you are building your brand. You are an artist, no work, no. Angie, that part right there. Because I'm sitting up here now and I got 2 incomes that I might be supposed to come in the fourth quarter.
Look,
Outside
listen,
of that,
let me tell you,
sorry.
something, right? Let me tell you something, right? Even the artist, the one that's grinding and trying to, build or whatever, you still need a break. Self-care is important.
Jeff said we
So,
celebrate hustle culture. I'm sorry, that wasn't Jeff, that was Brandon. Saying that we celebrate hustle culture too much. And I mean,
yeah,
this sister right here, Angelina,
yeah,
she be everywhere. She had to
yeah.
take that vocal rest, I think last year, do something with her vocal cord. So rest,
We got,
sister.
we gotta the same way we celebrate hustle culture, we gotta celebrate nurturing, because we have to learn how to take care of ourselves. So if you think about it, right, this is real talk. If each person stops and look at their lives and see you hustle, 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 grind, 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 right? At the end of the year, look at last year. How many times did you take time for yourself? If you sit down and you put a calendar in front of you, January of 24 to December of 24, how many vacations did you take? How many breaks did you take? How many getaways did you take? The body can only do but so much, so we have to. It's important that we build it in. And let me just add this piece in, that when white folks go on vacation, they go on vacation. They tell you, look, their email says, I won't be back for the next 3 weeks. You can leave a message. I got limited access to email, which means I'm
checking it periodically.
Email, right? They go away. They do 2 weeks wherever they at. Then they come home and they still have a few days at home before they go back.
Can we just interject that? Always put 1 to 2 days in the buffer because that is what depletes the whole thing, because you jump right back into the grind.
You know what we do?
Yep.
We work for a company. We get vacation. We got 2 months vacation time built up. Instead of us taking a vacation, we'll say, okay, well, I take every Friday off for the month of so-and-so. I'll take Friday and Monday off and give myself 4 days.
Wait.
And we play like that's the vacation, right? When it's really not,
So I gotta admit, I used to do that. If there was a
lot
Monday,
of us did.
If there was a Monday off, I would take Thursday and Friday off and Tuesday. That's only 3 days. But then I told myself I got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and 6 days off.
Right.
Mentally that.
Yeah, but that's what we do. White folks don't do that. You know what they do? They take their 2-week vacation when they're supposed to take it. They take their 3-week vacation when they're supposed to take it. We're the only ones that be so worried about the company, so worried about the job that, the job ain't going to function right unless I'm here. If I don't do it, so I got to be here. I can't take a 2-week vacation. No, you can take a 2-week vacation if you plan it. It's 2025. Wherever you work, look at how much time you're going to have and plan for 2026 to take 2 weeks and 4 days. Why 4 days? Because you're going to need to leave 2 days off early so you can go and get settled or whatever. You're going to do your vacation. You're going to come back and you're going to need 2 days to relax before you go back to work. Plan it. We can do it.
You have to, because I try to be balanced and I had this thought, so I'm going to say we also have to keep in mind that we're in a culture now that, you've been in a position, you've got promotions and you're getting 70,000 a year, where, they got someone that's up under you that just got out of high school or college. They're paying them 45, and companies don't value, to your point, the companies don't value the sacrifice that you're making. So stop making it for them. That just hit. That has to be followed up with a hold on. Sorry, I just had to get that out. I got to get ready to get this brother out of here.
I ain't in no rush. You keep trying to kick me out.
I'm not trying to kick you out, but and I think you get
spring for lunch. You ain't cooking. I ain't eating. You're cooking.
We can't go nowhere on a Monday because my favorite spot's not open.
What's your favorite spot?
They have oysters. They have char grill oysters, and they have chicken wings.
Okay, well, your favorite place might not be open, but someplace else is.
I'm a solo entrepreneur that hasn't worked this summer.
We're gonna go on that Java with Jimmy budget, go get something to eat.
We about to go to McDonald's. Nope, that's not healthy. But no, bro, I wondered, because there's a lot of people that I've known for years, and something happens when they sit here or when you have the interview, and it happened with you. I told you, there's a regard and respect anyway, but I think even more so now, just kind of peeling back the curtain of who Marv is. Besides the personality and who we see in community, just I think folks getting to know what makes you tick is definitely dope. So I want to make sure folks know y'all can follow Urban Heat. So wait a minute, you've changed the name a couple of times, because I used to type Heat, then I used to type 98.1. So now it's Heat 98.1.
So before we get into that, let me just say locally, if you know Danger, he got a swimming pool. Contact with Dane. You go to his house and get in the swimming pool.
Darren's been. I'm going to get myself in trouble. Look, and he was just on.
Dane real friendly with his swimming pool.
Hold on, let's do a plug real quick. Well, he did a plug too. This is good marketing. Let's all take a mini vacation at Urban Escape on the Cape on December 29th through January 1st. Heat 98.1 FM plug.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we're going to talk about what's coming up. So where can folks follow you? What's coming up? There's there's the
So,
website. Let me put that in
yeah.
the comments
So
while you're talking.
everything is on the website, heat981fm.com. That's the website, heat981fm.com. We definitely have Urban Escape on the Cape coming at the end of the year. That is a 3-day experience, a 3-day New Year's experience. It's unlike any you've ever done before. We did it last year, 3 days down the Cape. We rented the entire resort, the whole thing. It was crazy. It was
I saw.
People were like, "Oh, well, y'all are gonna have to be on a curfew." No, we're not. We rented the whole place. We partied till 3 in the morning.
A whole three.
And the only reason why we stopped is because
okay.
people were going to bed. 3 in the morning. We had the way it was set up. There was something going on 24 hours. You finished partying at 3. We were outside roasting pineapples.
Pineapple.
Over an open fire. Yeah, it was crazy. Roasting pineapples. Then we had the movies. We had a makeshift movie theater where we were watching movies all night long. Get up early in the morning. You got to work out in with Stacy. You know, it was
Work
crazy.
out?
Yeah. I don't know. I ain't work. I got in the pool though. I got in the pool. The pool was dope. The pool was heated. It's like Dane's crib. The pool was heated.
So to your point, you volunteer in this man's house. But Rosie said, there he go again, inviting people to others' homes. If I get a phone call from somebody that got a sneaky link, talk about, you should hit James up and see if you could just run her by your crib.
Well, listen, I already said that, but I'll share that information again.
You better not.
Well,
wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. I need to get I need to get to Miami.
Okay, well, you go to Miami and then they could come over here and so look, you can Airbnb James's spot. Look, Java with Jimmy got this little place. Listen, for all the fellas, if you want to bring a chick by, and just kind of sit down and they're gonna come here and be like, oh my God, it's so nice in here.
He's lying.
Yeah, it is. He got nice little I just told him when I walked in the door, I said, I'm not sitting on the couch. The couch got DNA. Or how much on it,
Marv, stop. we were getting ready to end on a positive note. But Dane said it's friendly, but not that friendly. He made a point that I don't know if you could see it. But this merging media, we have to do that. Again, shout out to Danielle. Shout out to the folks over at the Banner. Shout out to Courtney. Shout out to you.
Let me just add so. People always say to me that I'm in competition. The Urban Heat is in competition with other people. Listen, from my mouth to your ears, the Urban Heat is not in competition with anybody. We're not in competition with Spark. I love Danielle. If there's anything that I can do to help her, I will. I'm not in competition with her. We ain't in competition with Woke, T. Lawson, Courtney, and all. We're not in competition. If there's anything I can do to help them, I absolutely will do it. I've been talking to this brother like, listen, if there's anything I can do to help you, to uplift you, and grow your platform, we as Black people, we're too confined and too sectored off, and we all, I don't want to help them. They're doing the same thing I'm doing. There's enough work out here for everybody. There's enough out here for everybody, and whatever I can do to help uplift folks, I'm game. I'm all for it. I'm not threatened by anybody or any platform. We have to start doing like other people do. The 94.5 and Kiss 108. They're under the same umbrella on iHeartRadio. They're not competing with each other. It's two different markets. They go after two different, they offering two different things. The stuff that Danielle does is not the stuff that we do. So it's like, listen, we have to understand that we can all coexist and we can work together. I love what DL said, about
Absolutely.
Media pulling together. There is no togetherness here in the city of Boston. There's no togetherness at all. We don't work together. And I believe that's by design. And I'll say right here on Java with Jimmy, I'm willing to work with anybody. Most of the people that work at the Urban Heat, they came in green, no radio experience, and I opened the door for them because I want to see us grow. I want to see us do better. So I have no problem with working with anybody. I'm not insecure. I'm not jealous. I'm not
insecure
fearful.
in any manner.
at all.
Sorry.
We should all be working together, because you imagine this. Imagine if the Urban Heat, Spark, Woke, Java with Jimmy, who else am I
The
missing?
banner.
The banner. If we all sat at a round table, it ain't got to be round, but we sat at the table together and came up with a plan, we would be so powerful together and be able to command that dollar that the iHeart's getting on a larger scale. They getting buys, the media buys that are like 30, 40, 50, $60,000 a month.
And that divided by 5.
Yeah.
That's a 10. That's a 10 come up for us. And right now,
Exactly.
I don't know about you, but a 10 come up for me for a media buy.
Listen, and my thing, and I've said this before, if let's say all these entities come together and we do media buys, I would promote that each company gets a fair share. If it's a pie and there's 6 of us, each of us gets a 1/6 of that pie. Doesn't matter what you're doing. We all get a 1/6. Everything gets split equally. And we can all grow, and we can do it. We can make ourselves better. We can be, present as a united front to be able to get the money. But everybody's just like, oh no, I don't like him. I don't like her. I don't want to work with him. I don't want to work with her. Jewish people don't like each other sometimes, but they work together. I've seen it. I've heard the stories. Pay attention. When it comes to money, that's what people are focused on. They don't care about the personal relationships or the the emotional stuff. No one cares. Like when people that are getting money, the people that are really getting money don't care if you like them or if they like you. They care about the money. That's what's driving them. So they will work together and get the bread. We got to learn how to do that.
It's going to take a lot. And I think we're on it. Shout out to Brother DL again. I think we're on a journey. We were going to look at doing some things for this HBCU weekend. And, we got a foundation because I got everybody except the banners. I got everybody's pitch deck. So I'm able to go in and look at and what the total looks like for Woke, Spark, me, you, just the 4 of us. Our numbers are probably, crazy. And then we also got to give a shout out to people that may not have platforms, but I don't want to get into names, but there are influencers that don't have platforms that are also getting messaging out, influencing the culture. Some a little bit ratchery, but some with messaging and just entertainment and whatnot. So it's definitely needed. And everybody is in agreement with you. Shout out to Coach Law because she understands numbers. She's on Instagram and Facebook. And this is one of the personalities. We just talked about you, Coach Law, with your wonderful self. Just shouted you out a few minutes ago. So thanks for being here. Rosie McAllister is saying that reminds me of the Black Promoters Collective. Collective. It definitely can be done because then you have that piece that can. Here's the other thing, and we can end after this. This is my frustration. They need to start coming to us first. If you got a newsish type of something that's Black or an event, and we get it. Got me started. NBC, ABC, all these other local stations, they go to them first because they have the bigger reach.
Mm-hmm.
If it's us coming together, but let's say we came together tomorrow. The other Black entities, organizations, and leadership need to make us first priority in their media buys. They need to put marketing in their event budgets and whatnot, and stop thinking just because we're Black and we want to get a message out that we got to do it for free.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Hey, look, I totally agree. When I talk to the political folks, these politicians that are running, you'll see a politician's ad running on TV for months before they're even ready or willing to talk to us, right? Because they'll exhaust their budget, then they'll come to us and then they'll be like, oh yeah, well, I'm sorry, we only got $1,000, we only got $1,500, we only got $2,500 for you, but they've spent $10,000
right now. We can talk if you come in with about $2,500.
No,
I'm missing. So that's 2 nights in the flight.
I mean that, but the point I'm making here is that with us, we have power in the community. We have a voice in the community. So we have
influence.
We have to understand our value and demand that we be paid attention to. So imagine going into a meeting and being able to say, you know, you can advertise on Spark, Woke, Java with Jimmy, the Banner, and the Urban Heat all in one shot, right? But you have to commit to this. And thinking of all the buying power
The
that
buying
we could
power,
have.
and we market them. Having the liberty, I'm going to market them one way. If they're coming with something that has more of a mental health or something lens, you'll market them through a men's piece, or if there's a fatherhood component. God forbid if they have any Caribbean culture or women with it. And also, let's say we're not limited to those spaces, but we
Right.
kind of know our niche. And so
Right.
y'all will get a better. All right, Marv, we're in a whole different place because I haven't. I don't know how many media people that I've interviewed, and someone that I know that understands him, because this we can say this stuff that we do, it's a struggle sometimes with the line through the S.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, but we're still here and we're committed.
We gotta learn as people, as business owners, how to separate our personal feelings and our emotions from the business.
It's a hard thing.
I mean, I'm good.
I'm emotional.
Listen, I got folks that can't stand me, but I do business with them if it's gonna make financial sense. I don't care if you like me or not.
Yeah. To one extent, if we don't share, like me or not, but if we don't share morals and values, you can keep your money. I'm good. I'll struggle.
See, I ain't even talking about that, but I'm talking, listen, if you think about this, right, there are folks who can't stand each other, but they will do business together because it makes financial sense. You can't control someone else's morals or their values or whatever. That's not for you to control that. I'm sure there are people right now that you do business with that you probably don't know what their morals or values are.
Facts. But
you know what I'm saying? But you do business with them.
I stand corrected. And the only thing I can use to confirm that is not the only thing, but one of the things that comes to mind, thank you, is that this conversation around Amazon, Walmart, Target, and whatnot. And we know the stuff that is out there and apparent. And that's the external. You're talking more about within our community and the varying levels of melanin, among the diaspora. So, oh Jesus, you done got me way out there now. The caffeine.
I know you're trying to wrap us up.
I'm not trying to wrap us up, but we can go here.
I do want to say that before we burn Sheriff Tompkins at the stake, let's find out what's going on. A lot of folks already burning him and crucifying him. We don't know.
And let's just name that this is being carried out by a DOJ, that anything to do with Massachusetts, Boston, Maura Healey, Michelle Wu, Ayanna Pressley, anything, that there's a little extra salt on that case or whatever. And again, we don't know everything. If there were some indiscrepancies, that's fine. We have accountability. But publicly, it's Grace. That's a black man that is also Marv, there's a percentage of a little extra oomph out of that DOJ.
When I look at our leaders who have been railroaded, right? Chuck Turner, railroaded. Diane Wilkerson, railroaded. Tanya Fernandez, railroad. When I look at all these folks, right? I'm looking at Sheriff Tompkins. They're trying to railroad him too. Think about it. We don't know all the details about any of these cases. We only know what they told us. That's all we know. We don't know the details, the real details. Somebody is trying to destroy people that look like us. And what happens is once they start feeding this narrative, then they allow us to take it and run with it. Oh yeah, just go ahead and feed it. Go ahead. Talk about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
Is what they call it.
Talk about the 1,000 bottles of baby oil. Yeah, they'll take it. They'll feed off of it. Yeah, let's let them do it. And then we get the information and then we start running with it. And then before you know it, they're sitting back laughing at us because we're tearing each other down and they got less work to do. We do it. We do ourselves in. Ooh. So,
yes, sir.
This thing with Sheriff Tompkins, before we're so quick to be like, oh, I knew I didn't like him for a reason. let's be easy and let's try to find out what's going on. Let's find out what's really going on before we burn that man at the stake.
Him, any others, in the next couple of months, and we didn't
Absolutely.
talk about this, but in the next couple
Yeah.
of months, things are going to get very, very interesting. The other
They're gonna
thing,
get nasty.
I'm
They gonna get
trying to be,
nasty.
they're going to get nasty, and folks better pay attention to the truth. This is why platforms like ours, and this is not implying that anyone is, well, y'all know where I stand, but any of the others has made any political stance or whatever. But out of all the platforms that we've named, I believe we all try to be as balanced as possible, or if not balanced, at least forthright of where we stand, and not let it be hidden. Everybody knows where I stand. So yo, Marv, this we might need to do this again.
Yeah, about time. Tell you, man.
God forbid, and when we do the after dark, we got to have
after dark. What? That mean we could swear?
You could have sworn
you say
today.
Anything.
You could say anything.
You say, no, I don't want to swear during the daytime because people are at work and they watching, and all of that's like more family oriented. But yeah, we going after dark. We could swear. But I got a couple. We got to bring bombs I could drop.
We can bring Courtney and Coach Law in with us, or maybe Courtney and Danielle, you, me, and that's everybody.
You're gonna need a bigger room. You're gonna need a bigger room, man. Everybody can't fit in this.
He's about to say, where are we gonna do it, Marv? Where are we gonna do it?
I don't know where we're gonna do it at, but I mean,
at Westinghouse, something
here. Look, I can
space. You see what I did today? Space. I can set this room up and get it. I got 3 other cameras. I mean, it may not be, urban heat, but
is it gonna smell like how it smells now in here?
That's my jasmine.
It smells good in here. I know. It smells romantic. Like, I swear, I thought when I walked in the door. Stop saying that, because
then they're gonna be out here saying,
I thought when I walked in the door, he was going to hand me a fruity drink, like, welcome to Java with Jimmy. No, but the place is nice, man. It really is.
If anything, you would have an espresso martini, but you can only have 2 sips because exactly. I won't tell him about the night.
Yeah. Let him drop. Let him drop, boy. Listen.
Left.
So look.
Me hanging. I'm all concerned, and look where you at.
For all the people that know me, they know. He didn't know yet.
I did.
I will leave that ass in a heartbeat. Jimmy was like, yo, come on down to Grace. So I'm like, okay. So I go down there. We chilling, right? And
Marv had his own. We got you a table. You had your own table.
For the people that know me, I'm only good for like 2 drinks, and after that, I'm ghost.
You didn't even have the whole drink, Marv.
I had a lemon drop.
He was like, that was strong.
I had a lemon drop. It was a little strong, right? But we were sitting there and everybody's doing their thing, and then my internal clock said, Negro, go home. You already know what did you
tell me you was doing, though? I was like,
I got up to go to the bathroom. He was like, where you going to the bathroom? I'm like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back. Just chill. So I went to the bathroom, and then when I came out the bathroom, I went to the elevator and I went down and got in my car and I left. So I mean,
and about 20 minutes later, I'm like,
by then I was home. I don't be playing. I finally learned that Dane, my man Danger, was like, oh yeah, you be doing that Irish goodbye. I had no idea what they called that.
Oh yeah, that's so people that know me and go somewhere with me, they hate it because they was like, James, you don't know how to do an Irish goodbye.
Yeah. So I learned a long time ago, right? When you go out and you seeing people, you cannot say goodbye, because as soon as you say, all right, y'all, I'm out, somebody's gonna be like, oh nah, don't leave, man. Have another drink. Yo, why you leaving so early? Just chill. And the reason I go places by myself is because I don't want anybody to interrupt when I'm trying to leave. So what I'll do, right? I'll make my way in an event. I'll make myself seen. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Oh, hey, all right, hugs and all of that. If I got to get on stage,
you just sound like a politician
and all, right? But then after I do that, I just make my rounds through the room and I go stand right by the door. And then when I'm standing by the door, I'll be looking, and all of that. And then as soon as a distraction comes, somebody gets on stage, music, dancing, I'll slip right out. I'm a master at it now. I know how to do it really good. Yeah.
I
went one time, I went through the back door in somebody's kitchen and came out the back. Like, yeah, I'm a master at slipping out. I just don't want to say bye because I don't want nobody telling me to stay. When I'm ready to go home, I'm ready to go.
Listen.
So I hate going places with people. because people don't want to leave when I leave.
And I'm old school. We come together, we leave together.
I'm gonna come by myself. That way I can leave
Pause.
by myself.
Okay.
And
that
look,
being
you saying pause. I can't stand you. That damn pause. Listen,
that's healthy.
I will leave you in a heartbeat. And we had this thing the other day where this young lady said the guy left her on the beach, and we did a little digging. He didn't leave her on the beach. He left, but she knew he was leaving. But I will leave you. I ain't playing.
Y'all
ready to go?
No, we good. But y'all don't know what you're gonna get on the morning cafe.
Yeah.
I like the name, the morning cafe.
Eat981fm.com.
I like the name, the morning cafe. It sounds familiar.
Morning Cafe's been around longer than Java with Jimmy. Trust me.
Java
baby.
Cafe.
So listen, every morning you could catch us with these crazy antics on the morning cafe on Urban Heat. We're on iHeartRadio. If you go to iHeartRadio, download that app, look up 98.1 FM, the Urban Heat. We got a variety of shows, a variety of programming. It's
a variety of personalities.
Yeah, it's an amazing venture that we have going on over there at the Urban Heat. And like I said, I want to say 90% of the people there have had no formal radio training, and they're all on the air, and they're doing fabulous. My girl Sandy, Shotgun Sandy, we would do Inside the Ride, and Sandy was a listener, and Sandy ended up coming to sit in on Inside the Ride, and she would come and just sit there and be quiet and just smile and sit there.
Just glad to be in the service.
Just glad to be here. And then next thing you know, Sandy's on the radio now. She's doing a show on Saturdays with my man E Love, Dita Weeda,
I need to bring him on Java After Dark.
Oh, you're gonna get some excitement out of him, boy.
Him and Angie. Back to you, Bob.
He came on, and he got fired on his first day
from Urban Heat.
Yeah, because he went on. He called. He wanted to be on the radio, so I didn't know what to do with him. So I paired him up with Jonathan.
Somebody tagged Dita,
and he was on the radio with Jonathan, and Jonathan said, "All right, man. This is where you say your goodbyes, give your shout outs so that, we can move on." So Dita started giving shout outs, man. He was shouting out the dog, the cat, the mailman, the neighbor whose wife he slept with. He was shouting everybody out. And Jonathan was just sitting there. He was like, "Are you done?" And he shouted people out for the last 2.5 to 3 minutes. And finally, when he was done, the hour had ended. Jonathan, he was like, "I can't even say goodbye to my people. I'll see y'all tomorrow." And then went into the next hour, the next show. Jonathan came to me. He was like, "He's fired. I don't want him on my show no more." And I was just like, "Dude, it was only one time." He said, "That's all I needed. That one time. That's it." And so Dita was fired. And then I went to talk to Mark Harris.
He said this morning when I commented, because I jump on Marv's show in the morning and engage and comment with the Morning Cafe at least 3-4 times a week. So Dita knew he was coming. He told me, literally said when I commented, he said, "Marv better not go over there and telling our business over here. You literally told the business about him."
Yeah.
I guess Dita knows you well.
Yeah. So, Mark Harris.
They put up his whole name.
Mark
Derek
Harris.
Dita Weeda Farrett.
Okay.
All
right. So Mark Harris, he's a he's a WILD alum. He worked at WILD, worked at WRBB. He's been in the game.
RPB?
WRBB.
Yeah, I remember, but you slipped up.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. You can't be like me though, dog. You're trying to call me.
I know. I did. You won today. I'm gonna get one before you go watch.
So Mark Harris is like a savior, because on the bomb squad, Mark Harris would add anybody to the bomb squad. So Dita got swept up in that.
In the bomb squad?
Okay. Yeah, and put on the bomb squad. And then he would always scream out, "I am Dita Weeda. I am Dita Weeda." And I will always be like, what is wrong with this dude? Why is he always screaming? Does he forget his name? Is that a way for him to remember who he is? It was just so aggravating that this dude would be screaming, "I am Dita Weeda. I am Dita Weeda." And then I went home and my youngest said,
I love him.
I am Dita Weeder.
Oh.
I said, oh, hell no.
He started trending.
Hell no. All the kids are screaming, I am Dita Weeder. I said, oh, man. Now I see it. I couldn't see it before, but
I think
now
that's a
I
t-shirt.
see it. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah. Dita got some mean sayings. He that screaming that I am Dita Weeder. Mean, you know. I mean, he got so many different sayings. Like, he should have his own t-shirt line.
He could have it. He's a whole brand in himself.
He is.
He's his natural self. And so it just speaks to the vibrancy. Well, we got into some names. She would kill me if I don't mention her name, Remy. Remy in the City R&B. She's a correspondent. She's a personality. She has a new personality coming in.
Yep, she's starting a brand new show. She R&B and chill. She's rebranding it.
Yep,
and bringing in new talent to splash down on the Urban Heat platform. I'm excited. Looking forward to seeing what they do. So yeah, we got listen.
What else is coming up for Urban Heat? We got the end of the year thing. Did you have the beach thing already?
The beach thing, yeah, that was last week. We did the beach. We had over 500 people come out to Hampton Beach. Talk about a time. Amazing. You weren't there, but it was crazy. We had Serendipity a la mode a couple days ago. This coming Friday, my man DJ Eclipse will be down Martha's Vineyard. He will be DJing. Yep, down there. There's a bunch of different events going on. But he'll be down there DJing. Saturday, we're in Carnival. We have our own truck in Carnival. Yep. We'll be in Carnival with a truck.
You're going to be on the truck?
I won't be on the truck, no, because we're
Dita's going to be on the truck, right?
I don't know who's going to be on the truck, to be honest, but we have a setup that will be at Franklin Park as well. So, I mean, look, we're going to be, we done splash down all over Carnival this year.
Does Dita say you bigger food in the wide mouth?
Yep, he says that too. Yeah.
Shout out to Reginald.
Look, Dita got a bunch of different sayings. I mean, he just, you know, like you say, he's just himself is a whole force to reckon with, you know. So watching him grow has been, you know, amazing. You know, shout out to my brother Tap. You know, Tap's just, you know, he came into this game hating radio. Wow. We were on Warren Street. You know, he was like, I hate radio. I was like, yo, dude, come be on the radio. Nah, I hate radio. I'm like, well, come be a change. And I can't stand radio. And then eventually he came and he's doing amazing things.
I'll either get eyes rolled at me, but this is a general question. Do you ever see Urban Heat be on the internet?
What do you mean?
Be on internet radio? When you said you hate radio, it made me think, because you know, one of the things that I fussed about was like, I don't want to go back to internet radio. I want to go, because I'm old school. I need people to be able to. You're listening to Java with Jimmy on Urban Heat 98.1. Do you ever see yourself with a call? You
mean on the dial?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's so funny, man. So when we started this journey as Base of Boston, we were on the dial 1410.
Okay.
We were on AM. Then we went from being on AM to being on AM and 98.1 FM. That's where the 98.1 came from.
Okay.
We were on the FM dial. So as Urban Heat, we were on the dial. The problem with that was the dial, because there's another station in Rhode Island that also shares that 98.1.
Yep.
Their signal was killing our signal here, and the FCC would not allow us to turn the antenna to face Boston the way we needed it to be heard in Boston. So you could hear us on the 98.1 position in certain positions in the city, but it wasn't heard the way we needed it to be heard. Being on the dial, if you do not own the signal, it can be very costly. So we were spending in the beginning $20,000 a month to be on the dial.
Were y'all bringing in $50,000 of marketing?
No. So it didn't make sense. So when I came in, that's what we were doing. And then I had to renegotiate the deal and bring it down, but it still wasn't, we weren't bringing in the income for it to make sense. Just being on the dial, whoever owns the signal, they're the ones who's caking up, because it's just like rent. You're renting the space, put you on the radio, and then boom. And then I said, you know what? We're losing. We're losing this race by being on the dial. Let's take a step back. And then we were just on the internet. We were on our app. And then I got the opportunity to broker a deal with iHeart, and we got put on the iHeart platform. And that right there was a huge game changer for us, to be able to be on iHeart. And I'm glad that we can share that space to be on iHeart Radio. It definitely came at a cost, but it makes sense to be able to do that. And if I could go back to being on the dial, I would absolutely take that. But there would be some certain things that would have to happen if I were to go that route, to go back on the dial. Yeah, there's some things that would have to happen. Like I would love to own the dial position. And if I could be in that position to be able to own the dial position, then we could definitely do some real sexy things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll, get the dial out. But no, this definitely won't be your last time here. And I'm definitely looking forward to After Dark. But I just thought about that question around a dial when you said do hated radio. So
yeah,
we're going to get ready. The reason is, brother, we wound up doing 2 hours because in the ride is a 3-hour show.
Ride. Yeah, inside the ride.
Inside the ride, like I do 45 minutes to an hour. It is 11:54.
Yeah,
we started at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Hey, look, man, when you're having good conversation and it's fun,
facts.
The time goes by fast.
I gotta admit that. Yeah,
there are times when I do inside the ride that the time, that 3 hours goes so fast. Oh man,
I'd be surprised at an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And then there are times when the conversation is not there, that it'd be like, oh man, is this gonna end?
But you don't find out. You ever have a guest that has superb information, knowledgeable, but they cement them and then they got the monotone and dude, I'm sitting at the screen like this under the table. I'm like, it's but it could go either way.
That time, like right now, it don't even seem like we've been talking for 2 hours.
Nah,
and we didn't even talk about everything.
Minutes. We didn't talk about politics. We talked a little bit about the media industry, black media industry in Boston. We didn't talk about the broader industry, nightlife, and all that other stuff, or politics. So maybe it's another reason to have you back.
Okay.
Another day one, and then we'll do After Dark.
I'm down for whatever, man. Just let's make it happen.
Just make sure
I just really want, the city to uplift. Okay. And when I say I want the city to uplift, I'm talking about Black America, Black Boston, Black people. We gotta get in a better position. You know what I'm saying? We're not in the best place possible. You know what I'm saying? We got to do better for ourselves. Black Boston has really got to uplift and find ourselves in a better space, because we're losing. My man Larry Higginbottom, he says it. He's on my station every Sunday. And if you listen to Larry Higginbottom,
I remember starting out as a youth worker when Larry had just about finished his social work degree. I don't know if he was externing or something. So I'm definitely familiar and know his tenure, in the space. And so we do have to do that and be willing to, it's similar to what we're doing with this media piece, seeing that among Black leadership, because as you said before, the more that we go at it, the more we're accusatory. And we've all, had hands in it, and we're human and hurt feelings and sensitive and misunderstanding really a lot of times, and points of reference, but I think with intentionality, and again, I got to go to DL, I got to go to people like you, Malia Lazu and whatnot, to talk about, the importance of us sticking together. And so in these times, I think with what's going on nationally more than ever. And so we're going to get ready to wrap, because this will be my last chance to get him. Marv sat up here and drank a 22-ounce, and he keep fidgeting in that chair.
Nah, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Listen, I'm sitting here and I only had this, and I'm like, we got to go.
if I gotta go
I
to
gotta
the
go.
bathroom, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm just gonna get up and walk away.
You
I ain't gonna use
probably
the
would.
bathroom. I would.
It's not after dark though.
Okay, I gotta listen. Do you only pee at night? You pee in
No,
the daytime? I mean, if I gotta go pee, I'm gonna go pee. Dude, I'm 54 years old.
you're older
You
than me.
know?
That's right.
Yeah, listen, don't start that.
All right,
Man.
Grandpa.
So,
All right.
look, mad love, man. This has been real. My name is Marv Neal. I'm the owner, president, CEO of 98.1 FM, the Urban Heat Media. My purpose in this game is to open doors for people that look like me, to give them an opportunity to realize their dreams in media, in radio, and in entertainment. I listen, I open my door to anybody. Holler at me if you want an opportunity to get on. I'm trying to make some adjustments.
There's a screening process because some
You
folks
know?
don't need to be on air. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, now we literally just talked about this the other day. So I'm gonna be sending everybody to Dane. So
For screening.
between Danger and Michelle, yeah, they'll be talking to them to see what steps they got to take to get on. But I think we gotta only way we're gonna get ahead as Black people is if other Black people lift us up.
But this is what. Sorry. This is what I've been saying about the platforms and not we all play, say, advertise, do things that may not float everybody's boat. But at the end of the day, these Black-owned media outlets need to be supported by everybody, but especially and today, Marv, it's nothing to do like and share in our business.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? That's changed in the
right.
past 10 years. It used to be, oh, that's petty people doing it for like it. No, when you're in this business, likes and shares can result in income.
Right.
Am I right?
Absolutely.
So
yeah. And I ain't gonna talk about nothing else because every time I mention something else, we get.
Oh, so now he's trying to run. Okay.
Nah, not at all. I mean, because I know you said you got a pee, so I know you claim I'm older than you.
Yeah,
but I see you squirming over there.
I'm not squirming. You just getting me what you call
end up
it.
peeing on yourself.
I'm not into that.
I mean, hey.
What did you? What was the thing? It was on some show or something, and I commented, and you was like, "Oh, you're into yo, Marv." Y'all,
what did I say?
I don't remember. It's been a few things, but all right, we're gonna go. They already people saying they want a second cup of coffee. You need to come back and all that other stuff. So we're gonna make it happen. Thank all of you for being here today, and we will see you.
Make sure we talk. Come bring me back so we can talk some politics. I could talk that.
We can do that before the night. Well,
yeah. Whatever. What? Huh? I can't hear you whispering. Say it out loud. I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Yes, you.
Yo, just say it on the microphone. You scared?
Because I don't want to know. I don't know what your answer going to be. Who you rocking with?
Oh, in terms of what the mayoral election, you know what? I'll be 100% honest with you. I haven't decided who I'm voting for.
Who you
I can
leaning?
tell you this. I ain't leaning towards nobody. Let me just say this right here, right? And it just really pisses me off that this whole the election thing, right? Everybody's screaming, "Oh, vote for Michelle." People screaming, "Oh, vote for Josh." I don't know who I'm voting for. I'm still weighing my options. Neither one of them have impressed me in terms of what I'm feeling and how I'm moving. I'm going to vote my interest. And what that means is I'm going to be voting and encouraging my people, my family and friends
and Black men
to vote for the person that closely aligns with their interests. I own a media company. I'm still waiting for both of them to place ads on my station. So look, let me just I'm not just giving my vote away. And I encourage all y'all, don't just give your vote away because so many people are like, "Oh no, you got to vote for Michelle Wu. We can't have another white man in office." Why not? Why can't we?
Are you asking the question or is this hypothetical?
I'm just saying, like, if he is saying he's going to do the things that align with what you're saying, then you vote for him. If she's saying things that align with what you believe in, where you want to go, then you vote for her. You vote your interest. Don't ever let anybody tell you to vote for a person because they're not a white man, or because they're a woman, or because they're this or that. Look and see what each person brings to the table.
How long they've been at
Okay.
the table.
And I don't even care about how long they've been at the table, because
And where that table is located.
Look at Donald Trump. He
You
came
want to open
from
that?
nowhere.
Lakeisha said I opened up a can of worms. You want to open that can of worms?
Listen, I ain't got nothing but time. Look at
Trump
Donald
in
Trump,
this conversation.
Right? But I'm gonna say this to
There's
you, right?
a lot of proximity.
I am not a fan of Donald Trump, but I will say this: some of the things that he's done, I respect. I mean, I don't respect everything he's done, because he's not doing anything to benefit me and my people. Everything he's doing is against me. And when I say my people, I'm talking about black people.
Folks. That's right.
He hasn't done anything for us, but he has done some things that I think other presidents have been afraid to do. So,
he's in power and all that other stuff. That's why, there's this thing of all politics are local. And I really appreciate one. I'm a little bit different. I'm commentary, and everybody knows where I lean, and I understand the fact of you being a media company, and not saying that you're not saying anything just because you're a media company. I really believe that this brother is still making, a decision based on his observations.
You ain't got the word. Listen, I ain't gonna lie about that. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care what anyone thinks. So when it comes to that, yeah, I'm still processing.
Absolutely.
Believe that. Yep. I'm still processing.
And as you should. I think the downfall I've realized that being ingrained in this so much or whatever, sometimes I view it not as a disadvantage. It just it makes the nuance of so many intersections and experience just so, but to your point about our agenda and coming together, because I've also been saying, with all due respect, everybody knows I love Michelle dearly. This is bigger than him, and this is bigger than her. You know what I mean? To the point of national politics, and all politics are local, and with an attempt to erase all things black, in this country right now, and with this city's history. To answer your question, again, away from the individual, I will say, you're familiar with Boston's history?
Yeah.
It's racist history.
Absolutely.
Away from the candidate, would you agree that people that want to go back to that or see what's going on nationally, do you think there's some energy within old Boston that is a little bit been reinvigorated post-November, after the election and the inauguration? Do you think that energy is now, it's been a sleeping dog and kind of low?
No, listen, I'm a product of busing, right? So when we got on that school bus in Orchard Park, and they drove that school bus into South Boston, I'm a product of one of those kids that was on the bus that was getting bricked and
rocks
and all that thrown at the bus. Yeah, there ain't never been a conversation about compensation for that. We ain't got no reparations for busing. A lot of us were traumatized. I was on the bus, traumatized as a kid, and a brick come flying through the bus window. There's never been a conversation about reparations for that. Any compensation for that. The city failed us.
And let's just
talk about that.
Let's just be clear because I think you understand this context. This man is talking probably before the woman was even born. When you said the city failed us, I know folks.
I'm talking about, when I say the city, I'm talking about every person that is an elected official right now, from Michelle Wu all the way down to anybody who's in office.
Was this proposed anywhere? Is it part of the reparations the task force?
I have not heard anything about any compensation for the people that were products of busing. There's a lot of folks in the city that were traumatized, got on buses and got, dudes. I having conversations with dudes who had to fight in Charlestown, had to fight in South Boston, going to South Boston High, having to fight. I mean, it's crazy.
Is it something that's when you say that, because when you first said, the city hasn't, my mind went to, the president, council, mayor, police at that time.
I haven't heard anybody
but of present
put that on the table.
So it's not on the table.
Not that I know of.
So did you just low key kind of like introduce something? I mean, that
hey, maybe somebody will pick it up. Somebody will
no, take it to your take it to Russell. Well, this is city. Either take it to take it to Brian, because Brian or Enrique or someone on there, because some of the other folks on there wouldn't be for it. But that, while I know that that's true, to hear you articulate, or take it to the reparations task force, we will. Well, there is a reparations task force in place, so take that to them at their next meeting, because I've never heard that articulated, that the victims of the busing era be compensated.
Yeah, I mean, the city failed us.
Yeah,
the city failed us miserably.
In both eras. Then, and you're saying now there's a failure because no one has correlated that trauma with some level of compensation.
Right. It's just like, it's like reparations, right? Where we know that Black people have given their lives to build this country. We know that to be true. They were taken from their homelands and brought here and enslaved and made to work for free. So the conversation of reparations came about. And for me, in all honesty, I say this all the time. I didn't think America had the money to pay reparations until COVID. When COVID hit and they started coming up with these trillions of dollars, I'm like, hold on, if y'all can come up with
$24 extra $100 a month.
When y'all can come up, if y'all can come up with this money, y'all can pay reparations. They could have been addressed and put to bed reparations a long time ago. They could have done that.
Internet neutrality,
not to. When I heard about the Boston reparations task force, what I heard was, we're gonna start trying to do something locally for Boston residents around reparations. And then I heard in that same breath, we're gonna offer free bus rides on the 28 and the 23 as a part of the reparations task force. And I was like,
that was in the same presser?
This was the individual I was talking to.
Oh.
And I said, you know what? I'm gonna talk to you later. I'm out. Because I wanted to cuss him out, because I'm like, what the hell does free bus rides? How does that benefit us as a people? Because y'all giving out free bus rides.
We can't believe, because this came up.
Kidding me?
We can't say that there's nothing and no benefit in that. And I don't know. I'm glad you said you was talking to an individual versus elected official around that. We can't say. Oh, I wouldn't say that there's nothing benefiting that free 23 and 28 riding down Blue Hill in Washington. Because there's some people that sometimes, I remember times I had to scrape up bus fare.
Let me tell you.
Bus fare, 65 cents back in the day.
And this is the problem. And I learned this from Larry Higginbottom. I love that man. If y'all are going to do something for us, do something for us, not for everybody.
Well,
when we talking reparations and they talking about free bus rides, that ain't just for us.
That's true.
That's for anybody who get on that damn bus. Black people have been slighted.
Yep.
Far too long. We have been discounted. We have been swept under the rug. We have been everything. We've been railroaded, all of that. It's time that we actually stop and open our mouths and say, if you're going to do something for us, do it for us. Just us. There's nothing in place that is for Black people only. Nothing. Name one thing except jail. Ain't nothing for us.
Within the municipality?
What?
Black Men and Boys Commission. I mean, Black Office of the Black Male Advancement.
Okay, how does that benefit us? Where's the benefits that have come from that for Black people only?
Increase for
don't hurt yourself.
Wait a minute, hold on, because no, because I was getting ready to ask you, I was getting ready to answer you around the budget, but once you get into the budget as a municipality, it's interesting to, okay, for example, we got $100,000, not a lot, but increased in one of the budget line items. but that budget line item is not limited to just black people. So I'm
All I'm saying,
almost making your point at the same
all
time.
I'm saying is we as black people have got to stop being afraid to ask for something for black
Significant.
people only. When you think about it, right? Just and I go back, I saw a clip where um there was something for Native Americans. There was something that was put in place, and this was designed for Native Americans only. And I remember hearing President Obama talk about it. It was something that was designed for Native Americans only. And then the question came up about doing something for black people only. And I remember hearing President Obama say that he would not authorize anything that was for black people only. It would have to be something that was for everybody.
It's
So
interesting because on one hand, to your point, you aim to benefit black people, everybody benefits.
yeah,
Because if you look at BIPOC, turn it the B over on the bottom of it is black, and then everything civil rights,
yeah,
all this other stuff is built on our model and our
yeah.
back. So there's a lot there, and I think this goes into the second convo because again, everybody knows who I support, where I lean, but I've been saying that doesn't mean that everything is perfect. I still have some issues around some accountability and stuff. But as you said, I think we have to vote, period. And as you said, to close out sort of this piece, they about to get you Marv for mayor.
What do you mean?
That's what somebody typed.
I have never run for no damn
Me
mayor in this
either.
city.
I ain't running
would
for
never- listen,
nobody.
Let me tell you
For
something.
nobody's office.
The reason why I would never run for office is because people then they really want to destroy you. They want to tear you down, and they want to make a mockery
Go digging
of
into
you,
your late taxes and your
all of
other
that.
stuff.
And I don't got time for that. Like I do better just being me. That way I don't have to answer to nobody. I ain't got to answer no questions. I ain't got to ride no fine line. I say what the hell I want to say.
You would have to give up your
how
Adidas
I wanna.
suits.
Please tell you something. I'm gonna do what the hell I want to do, and I'm gonna run my big ass mouth until I die, and nobody can't tell me to shut up. I'm gonna do what I want to do.
I know that's right.
So I would never run for public office because I'd be like Jasmine Crockett, and everybody gunning for her, and I'm like, man, please. But people really got to open their eyes, man, and pay attention. We as black people lose. We are losing on every front. And we are part of our own problem, man, because we're so quick to gun each other down. We're so quick to hurt each other. Whenever somebody say something, we jump on that bandwagon and we'll ride that. So that's why I say when it comes to Sheriff Tompkins, we don't know all the details. We know what the media has put out
reporting,
there,
and it's insane.
Let's if this. Oh God! And I know we're not going to talk about Diddy, but let me just add this piece in here. Everybody, when they start talking about the baby oil and all the dildos he had and all of that
stuff is quote unquote.
People took that and they ran with it, right? And then they released the video of him assaulting Cassie. That was to taint our minds against him as a man. But the case that they charged him with, they added all these other charges on there. And what did they do? They end up dismissing all them other charges. They had to get him on something. The reason why Diddy was in the situation had nothing to do with Cassie, had nothing to do with his freak offs, had nothing to do with him transporting people. What was the charge?
Human trafficking.
Human trafficking had nothing to do with that. It had to do with the fact that he stood up and he went against a juggernaut, and that juggernaut was Diageo, the liquor company. He went against them, and that is the largest liquor distributor in the world. And there are people who have great influence and power, who are shareholders in that company, and they needed to teach Diddy a lesson. And that's what it boils down to.
That is real. And I think the grace there is that I think the accountability comes in to where can I be real with you? There are certain things that oftentimes that the ratchet side of me just wants to do and say. And then there are times because of this platform, my family, my own integrity, I don't give that any space. And so it kind of goes to the thing of, and I hope this isn't coming off as judgy, but you don't want to give that person or company any ammunition to then be able to, throw back at you, even if at some point some of those same people were spraying baby oil and benefiting, from these allegations. It's and we can, go into this further. You can't two truths. We can walk and chew gum at the same damn time. I can be right about the fact about a lot that comes up with that Diddy case around sexuality, all of that, as well as you can be right around a systemic intent to sensationalize and amplify. Go with the legal piece. Obviously, it was proven wrong. You took them through that whole process. But the general media and the mainstream media and us, Diddy, local elected officials and whatnot, there's something to your point that you started out with earlier. Is there something, and Coach, I'd love to hear your thought on this. I don't know if it comes from the slave mentality, crab in the barrel, that when something gets out there about us, somebody used the term almost like piranhas. We just, and you said other cultures, put it this way, we're not aware of we don't see it outside of themselves. We do it internally, but you're not picking up said newspaper or looking on said post by a black person is calling out another black person like that. I something with what's the term? Syndrome. Something
Stockholm?
Yeah. Lakeisha, am I skating too far? Something. There's just and again, I haven't always been this knowledgeable, and I've dragged a few of our folks here and there too. But we evolve, we grow, we mature.
Yeah, you have dragged some people, haven't you?
See, I'm trying to be serious. I'm doing better. I'm not.
I was being serious too.
I know you were.
Yeah.
And when it comes between, listen, I hear and agree on the observations. I think while I said it was a disadvantage, and I'm doing better with this, I'm not a expert, but I'm certainly not saying that you are a novice in the space of electoral campaigns and politics and policy and whatnot. And it just, there's just some handwriting, but we'll continue that and we'll get it scheduled before the primary, hopefully.
Okay. Well, look, we have, just over at the Urban Heat, we have, evolved so much. We now have a political program that we're doing on Monday nights. And it's called Speak Boston.
Who's hosting that?
So that is moderated by James Lambert III.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's called Speak Boston. And we've done a couple of those already where we have had the District 7 candidates come in and
you had the brothers questions from D7, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The ladies coming in?
We had I think we invited everybody.
Okay.
And there were, certain people responded.
Okay.
Tonight we have 4 at-large candidates tonight. Yeah, Monday. Yeah, we have 4 at-large candidates coming in tonight. We
check
have
your notes. Check your
Alexandra Valdez, Will Onua.
Oh God, I used to work with him.
Okay.
In Neal's office.
Henry Santana.
Yep.
And Marvin D. Mathalier. They'll be in tonight. So we'll be on it'll be broadcast on our Facebook page, Urban Heat Facebook page.
It's good to see folks moving in that space.
A website called speakboston.org. Go on the website and register. And then what we want to do, the idea of this is to give the community back the power of asking the questions. Mm-hmm. So if you want to attend, you register and you go on Eventbrite, Speak Boston, and register for tonight's event and ask your question. Whatever it is that you want to ask these candidates, put it in there. And then the moderator will ask the questions that the people in the community are asking. Because you can go to an event and then, moderator is asking the questions that they come up with. But what about what the people want to ask?
There's
being intentional,
being very transparent, because I've seen stuff unscripted and all this other stuff. There is, and again, I think it goes to the fact of just I got to start owning the fact, and I think you see this. A lot of people see this for 5 years versus 15 20 years prior. But it's good to see folks that are stepping in and being civically engaged and leading conversations like that, stepping into that space. So that's dope. And Lakeisha does a little bit of it as well. So we are getting ready to wrap up because this is the longest daytime show that I think I've ever done.
Yeah.
It is in 5.5 years.
Hey, and I was a part of that. So that's dope.
Yeah, you got that stamina, bro.
Come on, man. Come on now.
I told you before you go, I had to.
Pause, baby. Pause.
All right. We're going to get off of here. Lakeisha said that I've been told that we must be mindful and accountable. Marv Neal even checked me. You have to have good people around you. Absolutely. And you have to have good people around you. And I'll leave that there.
This was fun, man. This was fun.
I appreciate it. And we're going to get ready to go. Come back. I might. Y'all got 2 hours today. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Tomorrow's the 19th.
Yeah, all day.
I might take a break tomorrow, y'all, because we got Michelle. Michelle's coming in on Wednesday at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
And then we got we're doing women's cardiovascular at 9:30. So I'll let y'all know. But I appreciate you, brother.
She's coming here and sitting in the den. You better turn some lights on here, man. I'm telling you.
Don't sleep because
people there.
There's a side to it. There is a very, how can I say it? There is a very swaggish. Don't sleep. Michelle got a side to her. This.
Right, listen, you're gonna have them police in here sitting on that couch with all that DNA on it. You put a sheet over the couch or something. I love you, boy.
We better stop before the cheesy people try to clip that up. No,
I love you, boy. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. All right. I love you too, Marv. I appreciate you. And today was good. I actually walked away with a few nuggets, and I think other folks have as well. Shout out to the real G, good voice of God over on Instagram. All right. As Marv said, we'll be here for another hour. I'm just going to hit the end button. We'll see y'all either tomorrow.